A background of MySQL for data analysis, we said for our case we are going to concentrate on MySQL Workbench because we have several types of MySQL that you can use to write database statements or SQL statements. So all the types of SQLs that are available online, they usually referred to DBMS or in full database management system. So we have several types of database management system. We have the MySQL, and in this case now you can see we have MySQL command line and MySQL Workbench. But now when it comes to types of database management system that are used to write SQL statements, you will just say MySQL. Number two is what we call the Oracle. Number three is what we call the SQL Server, and at the last one you have the Postgres SQL. The good thing is that with all these types of SQLs that I've mentioned, their codes are usually the same because they have been written from an SQL basis. So their codes are usually the same, but now the environment is different. It is just like when you go to data visualization, you can decide to use Power BI. Someone will go for Tableau. The other person can go for Google Data Studio. The other person can decide to use our libraries for data visualization like ggplot2. The other person can decide to use Python visualization library like matplotlib. So that is the same thing with SQL, but at the end of the day their codes are usually the same, but also the user environment is different because I've mentioned for MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, and Postgres SQL. So in this case, we are going to use MySQL, and specifically, we are going to use MySQL Workbench because that one is the one used for data analysis. You can't use MySQL. You can't use MySQL command line because it is not capable of handling large databases. Now, in this, the way we've been calling our data that we are using in Power BI data set, when you come here to MySQL, we shall be using database because we call it a database because it is used to store a lot of information together. So in SQL, we have two types of SQL databases. We have the relational database and the non-relational database. So the relational database, we handle it using SQL, and the types of SQL are the ones that I've mentioned. So the moment you have a relational database is the one that has more than one table that are related to each other, and so you have to refer maybe to another table if you want to get more information about a certain table. So they are related. So when it comes to relational database, we use SQL. And when it comes to non-relational database, something that is very rare, we are going to use what we call NoSQL or NoSQL. It is used to handle non-relational databases. So in this case, I said we are going to use MySQL Workbench, and we have to see some background before just going straight. We had already checked that last week, but we can just repeat. So the structured query language is essential for data analysis because it allows users to retrieve, manipulate, and analyze data stored in relational databases. And specifically, MySQL Workbench is a very powerful graphical tool that provides an intuitive interface for managing SQL database. You see now MySQL Workbench is a graphical, but command line is not graphical because we are running your code from the CMD option. So today I want us to cover database concept. We shall see how to set up MySQL. We shall learn how to write basic queries in MySQL. We shall learn how to filter, sorting, aggregation, and some functions. Then later we shall cover joins because it is important. We shall also cover subqueries, advanced filtering. So you see, today we just cover filtering, but we also have advanced filtering and performance optimization later. So for that, every time we are learning, because now the description of this data analysis course is building our skills and not focusing on theory. That's why in most classes you'll find us using a data set or a database in this case, and in some cases we've tried to come up with a real problem statement so that we can solve it ourselves. So because today we want to learn the basic concepts of SQL, we are not going to use a database that has already been put in place. We want us to come up with a problem statement. Uh, then from the problem statement, we see how we can perform several SQL functions. So the problem statement today, I want us to use the problem statement in a health sector. Okay, in a health sector. So imagine, I want us to imagine. This imagination is that you are a data analyst in a hospital, and your work is to you work with the patient's data, doctors, the appointments happening in that hospital, and the treatments for the patients. So your job using SQL in this case is to extract insights, and some of the insights that you are supposed to extract, because now you see here you're working on the patients, doctor, patients, and treatment. Some of the insights that you are likely to extract are number one, the number of patients visiting per day using SQL. You want to know how many patients visit the hospital a day. You want to know the most common diagnosis, which is the most common disease that most patients report to have been suffering from. The other thing is the busiest doctors and departments, and this one is going to be determined by the number of patients visiting per day. So the busiest doctors and departments, I've already started seeing a relational databases coming in my mind, because if you are going to determine the busiest doctors and departments, then you have to fetch information from the number of patients visiting per day. And maybe the last insight that you are likely to view is patients with the most frequent visits. Okay, the most repeating patients. So we are going to use SQL queries to analyze healthcare data and generate reports that help doctors and the hospital administrators to make a better decision on the go of the hospital. So before that, we have to understand what we are going to do. We have to know what is a database, and I defined it last time that a database is a structured. You must say that it is a structured. For it to be called a database, it must be structured. So a database is a structured system to store and manage data, or you can say it is a structured system to store, manipulate, those retrieve, update. So you can just say all those, or you can say to manage data. So, for example, in this case, the problem statement we are trying to come up with, a hospital database stores patient records, doctor's information, and appointment details. We want to see how to manage and store information in this database. Now, what is SQL? SQL is a language used to query, manipulate, and retrieve data from relational database. Remember, anything that is non-relational, it is not SQL. It's a type of SQL called NoSQL. What is MySQL Workbench, to be specific now? I said it's a graphical, provides a graphical interface. But we can define it as well, because now when it comes to definition of MySQL Workbench, the word graphical cannot miss, because you can see it displays a graphical format as compared to the terminal one or the CMD option one. So it's a graphical tool for writing and running SQL queries, designing databases, and managing users. Uh, some of the main components in a MySQL workbench that we are going to work with is the SQL editor. The other thing that we shall see is the administration tools and the schema inspector. MySQL workbench, mostly it has four parts. You're going to see the four parts of MySQL workbench. Now, the good thing with the reason as to why when you're installing MySQL command line, you are going to find yourself also at the same time installing workbench, because anything you see here, my window here where it's written MySQL connection, the moment I just click on the moment I just click here on local instance 3306, I don't know the port that you are currently using, but now this code is what I call the port. So this is where my SQL is currently hosted. When I click this one here, when you are using, it's going to open the SQL editor. So I want you to know something. When you are using when you are opening your local host for the first time, it's going to request for a password. And the moment it requests for the password, this password is usually the password that you set during installation. And I will come to realize that MySQL Workbench and command line, they share the same password, because when you go to command prompt and type MySQL -u root -p, it will request for the password of your SQL window or MySQL window. What happens is that the moment you put the password, SQL editor is opened in CMD. So the good thing here is that anything that you're going to do in Workbench will be reflecting to command prompt. So if we create a hospital database today in Workbench, we are still going to find it in command prompt. That is the good thing with the MySQL now. In this case, the command line and Workbench, they usually work together. But now you see the difference comes in, whereby command line you cannot give it a database and start retrieving information from it. You can only create and use it to learn, like update, delete, those things only. So when it gets to using a database, we move to Workbench, the powerful one. So we've already installed our MySQL and MySQL Workbench. We are going to create a new MySQL connection and login. That was already created during the installation process, and we want to create a database for the hospital system. So this is a window that I was working with earlier. I will just close it so that I get a new one. Let me save this. Close. Also close this. Okay, so uh, when you are starting here, you can, when you click this one, create a new SQL tab for executing queries. You have this one. You can just click on it. It will create an SQL file. Okay, so this window that is currently appearing is where we have to type our codes, and we can start simply by creating the database that I've been talking about. I don't know if this window can expand. Yeah, it can expand. So to create a database, you just say create. I hope we move together, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, so we just create. Let's move together. Create database. Database. Uh, hospital underscore db. Okay, are you there with me?
Yes.
So create database hospital underscore DB is a code for creating our database. Now, I want you to, this window had collapsed like this, and I've managed to expand it here. So you can, it was like this, then I have expanded it like this, and there's also this one I also expand, so I can use this so that we can get to understand this interface. Huh?
Yeah.
So here, MySQL has four parts. The first part is this one, the queries part, okay, the SQL editor, this one, where you type your codes. The other part is this part at the bottom, where your results will be appearing here. Okay.
That is the action output.
Okay. Yeah. Action output. Sure. Then we have the schema inspector. The schema inspector is usually on the left, and let me see where you find it. It's supposed to be just a minute. Okay. So you see on my where my cursor is currently, I have this one.
Yes.
I have three boxes here. Have you seen them?
Yes.
So you can click on the first one, and you will see a window appears on the left. You can expand it so that we get to understand what is it exactly.
Yeah.
So here, after clicking on that, this one is what we call the administration
Schema.
tools. Okay, you can see administration, and I have the
Yeah.
schemas. So this one, the schema, you see every database that we'll be creating will be appearing here. Okay, so
Yep.
assume you have different types of project, very many types of project, and someone is giving you a new project to tackle. After creating that project, you must come here and right click on it, and after right clicking, you must set as a default schema, so that when you set it as a default schema, what happens is all the codes that you type in the SQL editor will be referring to the default schema. Okay, but if you don't set it as a default schema, SQL will not be able to know which database you are currently using. So here, I want to see, I've create database hospital underscore DB, then I run. To run your code, you use the first, this one that looks like a stripe, I don't know how to call it, but this one, the first one. You just execute your code by clicking on it, and you will see the results here. You will see a tick, say, create database hospital DB, and you will see it that the hospital DB has been created. Okay,
Yes.
so when it indicates a tick, it means your code has no issue. But when it indicates a small x like here, the one which I indicated earlier on my side, it means that there is an issue. Okay,
Yep.
so after creating a database, the next thing to do is to use it. So I just press enter. I will use this one. Use hospital underscore DB semicolon. I also run. So let me try to select. Okay, now what you can do the moment you've typed this one, because the first one you have already run it. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you want to run the second one, you can just highlight it and then you click on the run to run it.
And what is the second? What is the function of the second icon that that has one? Is it that when you place the cursor on the line, it only executes the line, not
Okay,
the whole code?
under the keyboard. So you see, when at the moment you're going to be having like 10 lines of code that you want to execute,
Yeah.
we shall not be highlighting. But you see in SQL, the moment you put a semicolon,
Yeah.
you have closed that. You have closed that code, that particular code. So, like here, if I remove this semicolon and I click on the one that the second one you're talking about,
Yes.
my code will be executed, because what SQL will do, it will go through the first code and then it will meet a semicolon. It will assume it because that one has been closed. Then,
Okay.
because the second one I don't have a semicolon, when I click on the second one, it will run, okay?
Yes.
And you will see the results in the action output. So, if we are going to, when you're going to be inserting data into our tables, we shall be having like 10 lines of code, and then the previous one we've already closed with a semicolon, so we can just use the second one to run before putting a semicolon. So because I've already said use hospital DB, I can just close,
Yeah.
then I go to the next line.
Okay.
Okay, so I want us to, according to the problem statement we had, we are going to have 4 tables. Number one table, we are going to have the patient's table. The patient table is going to store the patient details. Number two, we are going to have the doctor's table. The doctor's table is
Yeah.
going to store the doctor details. Number three, appointments, where we shall track patient's visit. Number four, we shall have the medical records that will store diagnosis and treatments. So
Yes.
let's start with the patient table. The patient table, before creating the table, we have to agree on what fields that the table should have. Okay,
Yeah.
we can have the patient ID, we can have the name, we can have the age, the gender, and the phone. Okay, okay. We can
Yeah.
also put the registration date for the sake of tracking the appointments.
Yeah.
So we shall start. So I just keep a line and say create table patients, create table patients, and I open the bracket. So here you can continue typing on the same line, but if you want your work to be clean, because you've already said create table patients, and I want to describe your table, you want to tell SQL what the patients table is going to contain. For me, what I will do, I will let me delete and I will put enter. After putting enter, I'm going now to describe what should be in my table. So the first one is going to be patient ID. Patient ID. Then the patient ID, you are going to set it to an integer, so that we can have 1, 2, or 3 int. And then let us set the patient ID to the primary key, so that we can uniquely identify the patients. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to set a particular entry to a primary key, you just say primary key. So integer, then you say primary key. uh, After primary key, the next thing I want us to do, the patient ID, because it's going to be integer, we are going to be having 1, 2, 3 going downwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So to avoid typing 1, 2, 3 every time, I want us to set this particular entry to be an auto increment, so that after you enter the first patient, it should just by default assign the next patient a 2.
Okay. So we set it as a sequence.
So we just say, to set it as a sequence, you will use the auto increment, and you will see when you type auto, you'll see the auto increment, auto underscore increment,
Yeah.
and then you can say you can put a comma. So
Yeah.
what
Actually,
I
actually, before you continue, when writing patient ID integer,
okay,
then when you start writing primary,
okay.
a pop-up comes that it's written the key primary. When you click tab, it writes the primary only primary. So must you include
You,
the primary key, or you can have that primary and you continue.
now you must you because now you are trying to come up with a relational database. What happens? You are also going to have the foreign key, because once you unite two or more tables, you shall have the foreign key. So if you want your SQL to identify that a particular entry in a table should be unique, it should to avoid repetition. Specifically, it should be
Mm-hmm.
the primary key.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the primary function, we are going to still use it because it has its own work. So you'll be getting the pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like if you see, the primary key may not be in the pop-up, but SQL identifies it as a key that is used to uniquely identify an entry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So here, this one, when you are writing your codes, you can see this X here. It means that our code has an error. And here, if you see the code, according to me, it's written correctly. But now, why are we having this error? This error, I am very sure it's coming from the indentation. We are supposed to leave a space somewhere here to 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 to, to be able to tell SQL that this particular patient ID is under our code, our create table patient. So let me try and do this, because there must be a space at the beginning. Still,
But even if you put a space, it's the error is wrong.
yes, we need to. Let me see this space. How we are going to.
Or it's because we have not closed the parentheses. The parentheses that we
Okay,
put on
so okay,
patient.
okay. What you do?
Yes.
Do this. Let me see. Let me before. Okay, I want you to take the go where the patient. Let me see. Patient's ID starts from the second line of code that you are having. Patient underscore ID integer primary key. Go at the beginning of that line of code and delete the space so that it goes back to the previous line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we can remove this comma first and then close. After closing, what you are going to do, let us put a semicolon. Then let us come here at the beginning of patient. Yeah, I think that one is going to work. So that, have you seen what I've done?
Actually, yep. Even from my side, actually, it has just no error right now.
Okay, so what we will be doing,
Yeah.
because this table is going to be having different entries. So here,
Mm-hmm.
after increment, you put a comma and then you press just enter so that we go to the next one.
Okay.
So the next one,
A comma and then enter.
enter,
But
so that
that's
the closing bracket and the semicolon will move to the next line.
but mine has an error.
Yeah, because when you move to the next line, we've
Mm-hmm.
not typed anything yet, so the error will appear, but it's going to disappear.
Actually,
Okay,
okay.
so
I've
it's
seen.
going to the next line. We can now put the name.
Yeah.
Okay, name we set to a character. So character is varchar,
Faja, yes.
name varchar, and we are going to Now when it comes to these characters, you must tell SQL how many characters. Let us use 100. Then you put a comma again after the 100 should be in bracket, and you press enter.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Then the other one is we're going to have the age.
Yes.
Age, it's integer. With integers, it's not a must you give the exact number of characters. So age int comma enter. The next one is going to be gender. Okay, so okay with gender, sir, because we all know that we have two types of gender. We can decide to set so that someone we can enforce a validation rule so that someone does not put anything apart from the male, female, and maybe the other. We can work with three: male, female, and other. So because we want to put a validation in the gender so that someone works within the choices that have been provided, we are going to use the enumerator function, and in SQL its short form is enum. So in caps enum, you just write enumerator like that. You don't put a space after enumerator, you open a bracket, and
So what does enumerator mean?
so enumerator, we want to enforce a validation criteria whereby the person has no option apart from only selecting from the provided list.
Okay, okay.
So here, the gender you want to put male, female, and other. So if someone tries to input anything apart from that, automatically it refuses. So we put the numerator function, okay?
Yeah.
So in numerator, you open a bracket, then we want to put male, female, and others. So these male, female, and others are going to be in single quote. So you put a single quote, you write male, close the single quote, comma, female again in single quote, comma, others, comma, and you close this bracket, comma. Okay?
Yeah, female.
Yeah, make sure they are in double quotes.
There must be
Not double, single quote, single quote.
Single quote, single quote. Others in Ghana is okay.
Others.
Okay.
Then you will close the bracket because you opened.
Yeah.
Put a comma after the put a comma after the closing bracket.
Yes.
Then enter. You want to put the phone, maybe you can put phone.
Yeah.
Phone, we are going to use the character varchar, and we are going to say it should be, phone numbers are usually 10 digits. Let's put 15. Then we put
in brackets.
Yes, 15 in brackets. Put a comma, enter.
Yep.
Okay, let's put the last one for the sake of tracking appointments. We just put registration underscore date. And that one is going to be the date function. Just put date. Registration date, and after registration date, we can press enter so that this line, you see this line, the line that started from 4 should capture up to registration date. Then the closing bracket and the semicolon should be on the last line. Okay.
Registration date. Okay. Okay. But The line should be from the create up to registration.
Yeah, sure.
But why is it mine?
Yours is?
It's up to mine is up to where? What did you do here? Done back. The last line.
The last line what I've done, because the moment you type registration date and you give it the date function,
Yes,
you'll
yes,
you'll have your closing bracket and a semicolon there.
yes.
Then I just pressed enter so that the closing bracket and semicolon should jump to the next line.
Without even putting a comma or anything,
Don't put
right?
a comma because now we don't want to put anything because this one is the last entry. So we don't want to
Uh,
put
but but
anything.
but 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 my line is up to the last line number 11.
Number 11, and
Then
that's where the semicolon is.
yeah, yes.
So what we do, let me see. Uh, okay, remove the semicolon,
Mhm.
and because we had closed the use hospital, so let's try to run. We see if there's an error. Let's run with the second one, and there's no error. So what happens, Kevin?
Actually, there's no error.
Yeah,
Even
so
from
the
my
issue
side,
may
there's
be
no
just
error.
the version because the issue may be the version of
Yeah, yeah,
SQL.
yeah, yeah.
So
Maybe.
everything is okay here, okay?
Yeah.
Because I've already executed, let me now put a semicolon and jump a line, go to the next line, number 13.
Yep.
Okay, number 13, uh, we are going to have the doctor's table. That is the next table. So we just say create table doctors, open bracket.
Credible
Doctors.
doctors.
And then here, open and close the bracket and put the semicolon first.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. I receive a call.
Okay, no problem.
Uh, Shem.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I think we can continue. Uh,
Okay. So Doctors. Okay. So I have open close bracket and put a semicolon. Then I will go inside the bracket and press enter.
Yeah, there.
Okay, let's start. For doctors, let us have the doctor ID, name, specialty, maybe the department, phone, and maybe years of experience. So can start with
Yeah,
the doctor underscore ID. The same thing. So what I will do, just going to copy from integer primary key here. This one from the patient ID because it's the same thing. I will copy from int
yeah,
to auto increment. Then
yeah,
I paste here.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah. Okay.
because it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
then I put a comma now. Press enter. This line name is also the same thing. I just copy to 100. Then I come here, paste here. Don't have to type every time. Close the bracket. Comma enter. Okay. Name variable character 100. Then this one, the other one is speciality. Speciality. I'm going to have the variable character 50. Then let me set to 50, comma enter. The other one I'm going to have the phone. Char 15. Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
you've already
Actually,
get to years of experience.
yeah.
Okay. Now let me just put some capital. So here I will again remove this semicolon. Then I will just run using the second one, and it's okay. Okay. Close.
Yes.
Go to 21. Now I am not going to create another table again. So because it is the same thing.
Yeah.
What will happen? Let us now learn how to insert data and view the data.
Yeah.
So let's start with the patient. The patient table contains, we have the patient ID, which is auto increment, so that one is not a must.
Yeah.
We have
Then
the
we have
name.
the age,
Uh-huh.
we have the gender, and then we have the phone number and the registration date.
So here we are going to say we want to insert into patient. So you're just going to insert into patients. Now, okay, right. Now you see what happens is you must say the fields that you are going to insert, and because now in this case we don't have the primary key, it's auto increment.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to include it. I'll just say insert into patients, and then I give it the format. The format will be, I'll be starting with the name, comma, age, comma, gender, comma, phone, comma, registration
Date,
underscore date.
registration date.
Okay. Then I close. That will be my format. Okay. You've already got to registration. Check the spelling.
I think you have written registration.
Okay, I've corrected registration date. Okay, now I'm going to press enter to go to a new line. Values, the values I want to put now. Values.
What do you put? Do you put a comma?
I've,
Or you
after I've just gone to the next line because my code is continuing.
Okay.
So I put nothing. I just went to the next line, typed values, and I want now to insert the values.
But when you start writing the value, so there's the difference between value and values.
Yes. There's a difference.
Okay.
So values, you open the bracket. Now you have to insert according to the format here, because this is the format that SQL will be inserting your data into the table. So you can start maybe with the name and any. So the other thing we shall check is the data types in SQL, such as the number, those ones, the integers. We shall check on them. But now here, when you are inserting values into the table, uh, any any value that is an integer you don't put in quote, but a value that is not an integer. And how will you determine if a value is an integer? You describe it here. So so here in our patients table, we only have age as an integer and the patient ID, and because we don't have the patient ID, so we are not going to put concentration on it. So any integer will not be in quotes because it's a number, but any other should be in quotes. So like, let's insert the first patient here. You put in a single quote, so you can give him the name John Mwangi, comma. The next thing is age, because it's an integer, no quote. I just write 45, comma. Then the other thing is gender. Gender, I put male, comma.
In a single quote.
Yeah, in a single quote. Then for number is also in a single quote. Remember, it's not an integer as from the data type we gave it. So we're going to have, let me just guess a number, 45, 34, 21. And then the last one is registration date. And now with the registration date,
Number.
yes.
Sorry. You said the phone number, we put it on
in quote because it's not integer. According to we gave it a virtual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virtual. Yes.
So the last one is a registration date. With the registration date, you see, you must know that when it comes to SQL, the moment you use the date function, SQL knows that the date format is a year, month, date.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with the year, then month, then date. So here the year is going to be 2025. It must be in quote. 2025 hyphen, let me put 1 or 01, then the date is 10. No, if there is the 10, then I can close.
Okay.
Then I can put a comma and insert another one. Put a comma. Let's insert another one. So the same thing. I'm going to start with the name. So I just open. Okay, the comma is intact. Let us go with the name. I'll just use any name. Mercy. Comma, the age is 32, comma, she's a female, comma, the phone number is 0790899776. I'm going to have the last one is the date 2025 or 2 23. Okay. So yeah, now
We didn't. Yeah. Actually, we didn't start with
a bracket.
yes.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So let's try run and see. Also, I just remove the semicolon first. I run. Yeah, it's okay. No error.
Wait.
It's okay.
I think mine had an issue, so I skipped putting one. I didn't put one. Yeah.
You've corrected.
Yeah. But mine is okay. There's no error, but
Okay.
I'm getting an error. I didn't see where name, age,
Unless you check maybe the gender because we had
number.
fixed it.
Yeah. Actually, I've written the gender. Female, yes.
Okay.
Number and the 10. Okay. Ibu chini.
I'm here.
And then straight to the end.
Yeah.
I don't see where the problem because it doesn't have the red stuff at the beginning.
Okay.
But when I try to run,
Okay.
I have an error.
It
Yes.
says the error.
Insert the error registration date in the field. Unknown column in the registration date in the field list.
Or I drop my presentation. You present. I see.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You see my screen?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know where because the first one is okay.
Female. 25 months 0812.
Yeah. But it says that the error known.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Yeah. And then from up here, actually, I've described everything. Okay.
Let me see. Create table patient ID, int primary key, auto increment, name var 100, age int, gender mu, male female others. Male female others, phone number 15. Okay, scroll down. Down, scroll down. Scroll down. Okay. Okay. Insert into patient's.
Yeah, that's the end.
Insert into patient's name. Age. Why is this name in blue? I want to see name.
Mm. There is in the name. You see the name. The name is uppercase, but we found out that it's in the lowercase, or maybe it's the icon.
Because I'm seeing it's blue in color. Can you confirm that, Kevin?
This one.
Yes. Don't know why it's different from the rest. Can you confirm? Uh, patient name. Okay, you see.
Here.
Yeah, there's an issue also
Here.
here. Yeah, there's an issue. Can right, let me see. Okay. Okay.
But it automatically sets it to blue in color.
Blue in color. Okay, go there
And
and
I like
write
to.
name in the small one. Yeah, there's no problem with the blue color actually, but okay, go back and write it now because we see if the problem comes from the difference in cases. Name.
But the first value I entered is also the is the uppercase.
The okay, here at name.
Uppercase.
Can you try to run your code now? I see. Okay, let me see if there be an error.
Bella.
Let me see the error. Insert into a non-column registration date in field list. Registration date. Okay, check the registration date. Is the spelling for the other one when describing the table, right? Registration date underscore date.
Registration date.
Registration underscore date is the same. Okay. Let me see. Scroll down. I see something. 2025.
Insert the semicolon. Semicolon.
It will not it's not going to affect the code. Let me see. 2025 08 12. The format is okay. The other one, let me see the registration date. Let me see my code. Just a minute. Registration underscore date. Oh, let me just registration underscore date. Go up again. To see where that error is coming from. Registration underscore date. Date. I don't think it's number char 100 age int male female others char 15 registration date. Okay, scroll down. Scroll down. Okay. Start into patients. Let me check with my So try to check if the issue is with the indentation. I want you to move this come at the beginning of the first bracket in Mary, then at the beginning of 24 of line 24 of code. Okay, try to push it to be at the same position with the bracket at John. Okay, okay, just okay. Values. Try to run.
Actually, even I've seen even the values for John didn't record.
Yeah, as long as you see, as long as you've closed the semicolon, and at the next
Yes.
part that as the next block of code that you begin, even if the error is at the end, all the values at the beginning of that block of code will not be recorded.
Yeah.
So try to run that one. I see. Still the same thing.
Also. Yeah, same thing, yes.
Non-column. This registration date in field list. Age, name, age, gender, phone. Registration date. Okay, let me see. Insert into patient's name and MySQL 32 image and number 5 1 2 3 4 5. One, two, three, four, five.
All is it that my version of the workbench maybe it recognizes date as a different thing or what, or a different format?
I don't registration date because date year month then date, and I can see the year month then date. It's okay. That one is right. Okay, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
The first date is a 19. Reduce it to a value. Okay. Use okay. Try to okay change the date format. Okay, what you do, use the year, month, date format, but now with the date, put a value less than 12, so that we see if
Less
the
than
issue,
12.
yeah, less than 12. So start with the year,
Uh,
month, then date. So the month and date should be both values less than 12, or 12 or less than 12.
mm,
Mm-hmm. Try to run it,
Same error.
the same error.
Date.
Okay,
Yes.
let me check here. Can't create database system. don't think the issue is with the format of the date. The issue is not with the format of the date, because I have confirmed even the latest date format will take the year, month, date, registration underscore date.
So maybe from your side, is it that you have done anything different?
Okay, try to put that date in caps, but I don't think if that might be the issue. The date, okay, while
This one.
describing, yeah. Registration date. Okay.
Same error.
Error code on unknown column registration date in field list. Just a minute. It's saying unknown column registration date. Okay, what you do, close this block of code, close after, I want you to close it.
Wait.
Put a semicolon at the end of this code where the error is coming here after 12. Put a semicolon. Okay, put a semicolon, then go to the next line. I want us to describe this table we see. You can just write describe desk patients.
I put a semicolon.
Yes.
Like
then
this.
Yeah. Then go to the next line.
Next line.
Then give a space and go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. Okay. Again. No. Enter. Go to the beginning of 20. Okay. This describe desk patients. Then put a semicolon. Desk patients.
Patients.
See that table, what it contains. Want to see the then? Okay, you can run it.
Patients.
Yeah. Just run the way patients. Okay, run.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see. Registration date is there. It is type is a date. Null, yes, it can repeat itself. Okay. Registration date. There's no problem with the table.
Then why am I seeing
The issue is not with the table, so just delete that 25 line of code, because as long as registration date is in our table, then it means it has been recorded with a data type of a date, and so the issue is just back in the code. I'm still trying to see, because on my side it worked. Insert into patients, name, age, gender.
Registration.
Let us just check this registration thing. Non-column registration date. Registration underscore date. There's no space. Okay.
Yeah, there's no space. So registration.
Okay, go registration underscore. Do you have underscore? I can see it is there.
Yes.
It is okay. Name, gender, phone, registration date. Let me see. I think they're just the very same thing. I don't know why yours. Let me try to run mine again. Running. Agenda for registration date. Okay, wait, I see something. Wait, are you supposed to, let me see, supposed to have, okay, the brackets are okay. The brackets are okay, there's no issue with the bracket. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is okay. Then male and female, the cane sensitivity, male and female, is it okay?
Yeah.
It is okay. Male, female, yes. Okay.
Yeah, actually, it specifically states that the registration date in field list.
In field list, so, unknown column. You know, yeah. The error unknown is usually generated when SQL is unable to trace that particular column in in your database. And now here we've tried to describe
or we say that the column registration date was not created.
It was created because, you see, when we describe our patients,
yes,
you can be able to see it. And this error the unknown error is usually generated if that particular column SQL has failed to see it from the list. And in this case, we've confirmed from the describe function it is there. Don't know now the issue.
Yes.
The spellings are okay. Workbench is usually not case sensitive, so even the date in caps and not in caps is okay. This block of code where we had create table patients, we don't have to alter anything, because when we were creating, we never had any error. The error is coming from the input when we are inputting our data. Can you just go down and delete that part, then we start?
Which part? From insert or yeah. Let me do this.
Yeah. So
then insert.
Okay. Insert into patients. While you insert into patients, then give a description of what you are supposed to insert.
Name. Age. Phone number.
Yes.
Gender phone registration.
Okay. Okay. Ilikuwa? Okay. Tukisema ku approximate hizo zingine using the ones existing, umesema target ilikuwa 384, tuko na 100, mngefika 200 ni approximate hizo zingine, lakini tukisema ku approximate 384 na 100 ya itatu, chances are hiyo analysis itakuwa wrong. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, machine. No problem. I make a school. Okay. Starting to questions. Okay. Registration date is okay.
So
This red line at patients, what is happening?
hata mimi ndio nachanga, what is it? Statement is incomplete.
Okay, no problem. Just let's continue. We shall see if let's continue. It's because there's a insert. It's not, the insert function is not complete. So values. Okay, values. Okay.
Values, then
okay, name. You start with a single quote. You put the names in a single quote.
then H. Then gender. Then phone. It's not teacher. Then registration. Let me try to run this. The error.
The same error. Okay.
Yes.
It says a non-registration date. Okay. The issue is the registration date.
The issue is the registration date. Yes.
So what we do, try because now our registration date in the description of the table and this one is right. Try to put a wrong spelling in registration. We see what SQL will tell us when we put a wrong spelling.
Okay, let me do that.
Okay, then run. Unknown
column.
The same error. Okay. The same error.
Yes.
Registration date. Okay, can you change?
Mm-hmm.
Can you change registration date to reg underscore date? Both there where you are and at the bottom. Okay.
Reg underscore date.
Reg underscore date.
Reg underscore date.
Try to run.
Try to the same error.
Okay, go back at the where we are creating our registration date.
Yeah.
Reg underscore date.
I try to create. can it be this? Actually, this I saw yours had a different this line.
You see there, what happens?
Ended up to the registration date.
Let me check. But as long as it worked, then there's no error. As long as that block of highlight that part from the semicolon to create table patients. Run with the first one, okay. It says table
already exists.
Okay. Yeah, it can't create again. Okay, do this. Come at the bottom. Line 25. Drop table patients. Patients. Semicolon. No, just okay. You can put a semicolon because okay, you can highlight and run because I don't think the other says drop table affected. Okay, so
Yeah.
go delete. You can delete that part and go back and run the other block of code to create patients table again. We see if there's an error now. Okay. Create table. It has been created. Now can you run this part again?
This one. Yeah.
It has worked.
Yeah, it has been inserted actually.
Yeah. Can you put the other one, the female one? We see if it's going to work.
Okay, comma, then now we start with this one. Okay. Then this one.
You've closed.
You see, it's not valid at this position.
Expecting, yeah. Is there any, okay, 2025? You've used hyphen.
Yes. Let me see. Yeah.
2025 is not valid. Is not valid at this position.
Yes, it's not valid at this position. Expecting
why? The other one worked. So can you check on the indentation? Push this. Go at the beginning of this line 24, then push it to be at the same position with the bracket at John. No. Use the space bar. Okay, use the space bar. Okay, 2020. Am I seeing double quotes after Mary Kay? You are using double quote. Yeah.
Okay. Single quote.
Single quote, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, right.
Okay. Can you run now?
But I just want to do this.
Okay.
I see.
Trans.
Yeah.
That's
That's good.
the
But does the other one add?
But now that's why I want to ask you, because what we have done, we dropped the table, then we created it again. Now, the moment we dropped the table and recreated it, how did it affect? Because we never altered code anywhere.
Yeah.
So how did it affect the formation of the entrance of this information into the table?
Can it be maybe the registration column? What can I say now?
But that issue, because actually we dropped and then it, after dropping is when it worked. I think it's a matter of refreshing. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Let's try to insert into Doctor some 2 entries also. We see what happens. So you can close that particular line, or let me just put a colon. Then we go to the next line.
Delete. And insert into
doctors. Then we describe, we are not going to put the doctor ID because we've set it into auto increment. We put now the doctors, we have name, comma, specialty, comma, phone.
We have
specialty.
We have
name, comma, specialty, comma, phone, years underscore of underscore experience.
Phone.
Experience.
Yeah.
Then I will close, enter, values.
Okay.
Values. Okay, values we can start now. That is this format. Name we can say name is a doctor, so we can just a single quote. You can start with doctor Alice. Close the single quote, commas. Okay. Specialty, you can start with cardiology. Then the other one is phone. Okay. Phone, you can just put any number, 65, 43, 23, 54. Then age, you can put 15. Close.
We had year of experience.
Yeah, 15. It's an integer. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other entry, let me put. I must put a comma here, I think. After the bracket closing, then I come to the new one, Dr. Alice. Let me start with Dr. June.
Yeah. Okay.
You've run it.
Minus record.
Okay, that's okay. So put another one. Put another, the last one, so that we have two for the patient and for the doctors. The other one we can say, the other specialty we can talk of. Specialty, what is it? Let me just say research. Comma, phone number, let me put 0765 45 23 10. Years of experience 12. Then, okay, alright, it has recorded. has it worked? You have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that Dr. Who 1234 1234. Okay, let me see. Dr. Ken, researcher, number 20. Put a comma after the first entry. You've seen, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
Now you can run. That's worked. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, okay, the next thing we can do, now let's try to retrieve. You can jump at single line. Let's go to the other line. We want to see now all the information from the patient. We'll use the select, okay? And
yes.
Select, and we want to see all information in the patient table. If you want to see all, you'll select all from patients. And all we said that all is star. So select all from patients. Then I will just run it out.
Are you putting anything in front of patient?
No. Now here you're going to meet errors that. Have you seen what is happening? Have you seen the table that has been generated?
Okay. Yeah, no, mine I have an error. Okay.
Select
okay.
star from
Select
star from patients. Okay, it's okay. Select. Why is select
yes.
patients is okay? P is your P? It is just okay, I think. Use a select with a caps lock. Select. Still okay. Select all, because I knew Workbench is not case sensitive. Let me see. Select all from patients. Your patients is P capital or P small?
Yeah.
It is P capital. Okay. Under the patients, where you are insert into patients. Small. Okay. And okay. Select space star from space patients. When you run it says you have an error in your SQL syntax.
Yes.
Okay. Where is the error from this select? Just a minute. Start from patients. Oh, let me see. This star of yours is
Sir, it's the same star that
at number 8.
Number 8.
Yes.
You shift and
8, yeah. So it is just okay. But now this select, I can see the error is at select. Yeah. Why is select bringing an error? Select. I think it is. You're supposed to.
It's not at the position E of.
It's not valid at this position. Oh, see, you've not closed this block here before running. You see here?
Okay.
Yeah, so you close. Okay. After you deal with a certain block, you close. Yeah, so the SQL editor is thinking that select is still from insert.
Okay.
So yeah, so you see John Mwangi has repeated why. It is because even mine has repeated more than 3 times, because we've been running it severally. And the ID is auto increment, so ID will not repeat, but so for example, if you meet such an error, what you can just do is to drop that table and run once, so that to avoid repeating. This is because we were trying. We were trying. So even mine is I have 6 entries, and each entry is repeating itself 3 times, because we aren't supposed to have 2. So everything is okay. Patient ID, name, gender. Okay. Select all from patients. That is okay. Now, what if they're not interested with all information, like they only want you to select, they only want you to extract the name and the age of the patient. What will you do? So close this line of code with a semicolon, go to the next line. You can skip a single line just to make your work clean. We want to select. Now this is what we call selecting specific columns. We want to see how to select specific column. There, I've said they can tell you only to extract the name and the age. You will say select. Now here you will not use a star, okay? You will say select. You Because they've said name, you just say select name, comma age. Name and age. Now, no name, comma age from patients. And you close. No, you just run. Yeah, so yeah, it is working. Has it? Let me see yours. Okay.
What have I not? Okay.
Your
name and age select.
Your table is somewhere. It's saying, oh, great. You've closed here. This one, you've closed the patients. That is a semicolon. Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's a semicolon, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you've used the first one. If you see it saying this error, you've used the first run. Use the second one, you see.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's okay. Yeah, because you see, if you use the first one, it starts from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, yeah, that one now is used when you want to select specific columns only, not all, because maybe you are working with a database that has more than 30 columns and you're only interested with 10, so you just list the ones you are interested in. Okay, now the other thing, let us see how we can filter data. For example, we had 30 patients, and they want you to select patients with a specific age. Okay, maybe let me see, your patient age is 46 and 56. Let's say
46 and 56.
So when it comes to filtering, this is where you introduce yourself to a function called where. Okay. So if you want, maybe they're telling you they only want you to extract the patients who are below 50. Okay. So close that block of code, and then you can skip one line and go to the next line and say, because now you want to give it a rule only below 50. You will say, of course you will select all. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll select all from patients where age is below. Where age, you use the less than function. Where age less than 50, then you can run. It is going to work. So that one is this is now filtering. You can also use the name. You can say select stuff from patients where name equals to John Mwangi. You see, it will work. Yeah. So you are filtering your data. You are only selecting data that meets a specific criteria. Okay, the same thing will happen. For example, now I want you to do this. I want you to only, let me see, and can you select all from doctors? I see what the data contains. Your data contains. So you close that block of code. I want to select all from doctors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Years of experience, you have 15 and 20. Assume the repetition. Now I want you to I want you to select from doctors only with years of experience above 15. So that is filter. Okay, now can you do that?
Select.
So yeah, we only need to see those with above 15 years of experience.
Doctors. Where? 15, you said. So here we are doing years of experience.
Above 15.
Above 15.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah,
It has worked. You see now how filter is easy. Okay, with filter,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you just need to know that filter use where.
Yeah, filter we use where.
Yeah, where. I have the notes I'm going to share. The next thing is let's try to see how we can sort.
Mm-hmm.
Sorting. Sorting. We can decide to sort patients by registration date. How? Maybe want to see the most recent patient. You get?
Yes.
Okay. Now we want to see. We want to arrange our data in such a way that the patient table appears the patient where the registration date is the newest will be number one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we can do what there. We can select. Of course, we will select all from patients. So select stuff from patients where again it's a sort and filter always work hand in hand.
Patients where?
Wait, what we want to arrange so that the registration date start with the most newest patient. So what we will do, delete the where because we want to sort. Okay. So I want you to the way we said when it comes to filter, you'll be using where. But now here, Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
what we want to do, we want to arrange the patient's table to so that the most recent patient appears at the top. Okay.
Yes.
Here it means we want to order our data. We want to put it in specific order so that the most recent patient appears at the top. Okay.
Yes.
Now when it comes to sort, we are going to use order by because we want to order. So select stuff from patients, order by, order by. Order by. Okay, what do you want to order?
Registration number,
Date.
registration date.
Okay, that's true. Now you can just put
that is reg date.
Yeah, for your case because you changed.
Reg date.
Reg underscore date. Session date. Now, according to to what you want to get, we said we want to get the latest date to be at the top. Okay.
Yeah.
So this means what? This means that this date should be in descending order. I mean, descending order is usually from the largest to the smallest. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And the date of today is large from the date of yesterday. So this means when I order in descending order, the patient who has come today will appear at the top. The one who came yesterday will follow going backward. So I'm going to select stuff from patient's order by registration date and I put descending so that it brings the largest date appearing at the top of which that will be the latest date. So when it comes to descending and ascending, in SQL you use the short form. And the short form for descending is desk. not desk, yeah, desk, and for sending is ask.
That one.
Yeah, so order by reg date desk. You just put desk, then you run, try to run, you see.
Yeah.
The date at the top, yeah, John Mwangi has been pushed down. Yeah, so you can see it has worked. So John Mwangi, this one we will have shown the results well if we had a lot of data, but of course we are going to have databases that we shall be using here, so no worry. So you can just close that line of code. Here that is how to sort. You use order by. Now the other one is I want us to check on aggregate function. So aggregate function or just the functions.
So here if we use
Ask. John will return at the yeah. So you ask and desk.
Yes.
Wow. Now I want us to learn some one or two aggregate functions. They are not that important, but for the sake of coverage, you have to learn everything. Uh, we have uh, we have under aggregate function we have the sum, average, the count, the maximum, and the minimum. How can we use them here and yet we don't have integers? Because we you can use it in a situation whereby you want to count the total number of patients in your database. Okay, if you want to count the total number of patients in your database, Kevin, and here we have, I understand that we only have 3 entries or 4, 6. You can count manually. But now, if you have a large database and they want to know the total number of patients in that database, you will not select all from patients and then you count. Okay? What you'll have to do, you'll have to use the aggregate function. And to use the aggregate function, what you will do, just go to SQL here. I'm going to select. You just type select because you still want to select. But now this time, you are not going to select stuff from patients, because when you select stuff from patients means you want to count manually. What I will do, I will select count. So you just write select count. We have the count function. Select count, then open the bracket. Because, okay, count is a formula, yes? Or a function. Any function or formula should be in 2 brackets. So, of course, select count, we will put it into, we will open and close a bracket. So, select count from patients. From patients. Okay, but now what do you want to count? You just said, okay, let's try to run this code and you see the error that will appear. Select count from patients. You have an error in your SQL syntax. Have you tried to run it, you see? Okay. Why do you have an error? Because we've not specified our, we've just, it's like in Power BI when we were using the calculate function, you just type calculate and you don't put anything inside the bracket, okay? It will bring an error. So here also inside this bracket of count, there must be something. And what do you want to do? You want to count every patient inside the database, the patients table. So of course you will count what? All patients, okay? And if you want to count all, what will you use? You will use a star. So you will put a star inside the bracket, and this time if you try to run, it will bring a value. Okay. You see? So that is the count. It will just bring for you the total number of patients in your
So what does the star symbolize?
Star. Anytime you see star in SQL, it means all, like everything. So here we want to count everything from patients. The way we were saying, select star from patient, then it generates the table of patients. We were selecting everything in the patients table. Okay?
Okay.
So here we are counting everything in the patients table. Okay. The other thing, what can we do? You can count, you can use the count function to count by okay, now you know when you say select count staff from patients, what will happen? It will count the total number of patients. Okay?
Yeah.
But now what if you want to count by something? Maybe you want to count by registration date. You only want to count the total number of patients who reported today, or you want to count by gender. They have only asked you to generate the female. So what will you do? For me, what I will do, uh, we're going to type this code. So let me close. You're going to select, because you want to count patients by gender, you're going to select gender, comma, select gender.
Are we selecting from?
No. We just select gender. Then we because we want to count the female.
Okay.
Okay. Or we want to it to generate for us that male we have this and female we have this. So select gender, comma, count. Again we are going to count all. Okay. So star in the bracket. Count all from where? Now here you see how you put patients. Okay.
So we say from patients.
Yeah, from patients. Select gender, comma, count all from patients. Try to run like that. You see what it will bring.
I know, son.
Error, okay? Yeah, there must be an error. And the error says in aggregate query without group. Have you seen?
Yeah.
So meaning
Yes.
you have to group, because what are you doing here, Kevin? You are separating the genders, the male and female. So you are having two groups. Or not even male and female, you have three genders. Male, female, and others. So you have just selected gender. You want to count from patients using the gender column. You must group so that SQL can be able to say male, this is the number, female, this is the number, and others, this is the number. So you must select genders, comma, count staff from patients, group by. Group by? What are you grouping by? You're
So
grouping by?
you have said.
I was explaining. The error says, the error if you run, the way you've just run it says, in aggregate query without group. Why? That error is because you've typed select gender, comma, count staff from patients. But now SQL is unable to group this data so that it puts the male gender aside, the female aside, and the others, because we have three genders. Okay.
Yeah.
So you must group them. You must group them so that it can be able to separate the three types of gender. So you're going to add the group by after the patients.
So we say
Group by? What do you want to group by? Of course, is gender.
Yeah.
Mm.
Group by gender.
Yeah, group by gender, because you want it to say this gender contains this number, this one contains this. So try to run now and see what it brings.
Yeah. Yes.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
That one makes sense. So it's because we don't have others, they are zero, so it will not bring. Okay, the next thing, uh, we've not covered Excel, but in Excel, we usually have the what we call the text function. We are going to meet them. We can apply this text function in SQL. Okay. For example, if you want to put these names are like John, Mercy, you want to put them in all of them in uppercase or in lowercase. You can just use the upper, the lower function to put the names in the case that you want. So you can say there, of course, you'll say select.
That is the same case like using the proper.
Yeah, proper.
Yeah, the proper, the upper and the lower.
We talked about that. Did we talk about that?
No. Yeah.
Okay. So here, maybe you want to put the names in the name of patients in uppercase. What will you do? You just say select because it's the name. Uh, what I will do, I will say select upper, up and then upper what? You will see the upper function appearing with the two brackets because it's a function. So inside upper, I will put name inside the bracket because I want name to be uppercase. Upper from patients. And the names will be in capital.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. Uh, we have under the patients table we have the registration date. Yes. Under the patients table we have registration date. Okay.
Okay.
It works.
And what if, yeah, it works. And what if you want maybe the first name to be the first name to the first letter of the name to be capital.
To be capital. Now that one is the proper
Now,
function, but I'm in doubt if SQL has the proper function. Can you try to put proper?
process. It doesn't have. Don't think.
Okay, you see.
It doesn't have. It doesn't have.
You see proper. Oh, okay, proper function is not available in MySQL Workbench. It is available in PostgreSQL. So Workbench only supports the lower and the upper, but PostgreSQL supports the proper function. So proper function you won't find it in a you won't find it in a MySQL Workbench. Mm, the next thing we can check, let me see, what can we do in this? We can extract, okay, I was saying, we have what? We have the registration date of patients. We want to extract the years. What will you do? You will? You want to extract the years from registration date. I will select, the year is under the registration date, okay? And what do I want to extract the year? So I will select year, then in the bracket, year is a function. You will come to realize that year is a function. You will see it. So because it's a function, it has two brackets. Inside the two brackets, you put registration date or reg date in your case. Registration date. Yes?
You were saying?
I was saying we want to extract the year from the registration date of patients. We are not interested in the date. We want the year. But
Yeah.
but uh, we want to the registration date is under the patient table. So of course we are going to select all from the patient, but now we have the year function in SQL. So the year function, it's a function. Of course, it has two brackets. So you'll select year because it has two brackets. Inside the bracket, you put registration date and then you write from patients. If you run, it will extract the years only, years of registration, and it will give them a name. Year, registration date, it will extract. Okay, the registration date is supposed to be inside that bracket of that function.
Okay.
Yeah, the same way you did it in lower and upper. From get from patients. Okay. Okay.
But,
wait. There's an error. Why? Because you're
okay,
putting select, remove that star. By default, it is going to do all. It's going to.
Oh.
Yeah. So you just say select here.
Okay.
Has it worked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
So what if you want to extract maybe month and date?
The month function must be available. Try to replace the year and month. Has it worked? There is.
Yes.
So it should work. Yeah. Now, do you remember in Power BI they say there's something I told you. I said Power BI does not recognize January as 12. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, the reason as to why it is not bringing Wednesday Thursday because now SQL doesn't know Wednesday and Thursday. Uh, it is just extracting from the date directly. And when you try to extract the month, it's going to be 1 up to 12 because it doesn't know December, it doesn't know January, it only knows that January is 1. So that was the same case in Power BI if you can recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will just be generating 1, 2, 3, and you are now the person who is supposed to know that 3 is March and 4 is April, but SQL doesn't know that. Yeah, so that's you can finish putting entries in oh, by the way, there's a challenge now you've seen. You see the problem. Imagine you are supposed to enter data in the patient's table and you are having 100 entries. It's going to be very tiresome, and that is where Python comes in. The library in Python called MySQL, the one I was talking about. MySQL. Now there, you are not going to be entering the details in code. You come up with an interface. You just code an interface as very simple interface in Python. Uh, in the interface, you put the field, let's say the name, the registration date, all the fields under the patient. So you will be inserting data in the interface and then you save, and the changes will be taking place in MySQL Workbench and command line. So there's a bit integration. You have to integrate first Python with the SQL so that the moment you are inserting data directly in by MySQL library, the changes are occurring. But we shall see how to do that because now here if you have a lot of data and you want to input inside the patient's table, you will see fire. You will run into errors. So that's all. That's all for today. It was a good introduction. Uh, next time we can check on joins, maybe joins, uh, circular data. Let me present. I will send the circular Sakila database is here under my schemas. Hope you can see it on the left. So here, Sakila. We shall see, but before we get to Sakila, we shall first check on the joins because it has, let me see the tables. You see, tables, how many tables? Tables, just see these, all these are tables. There are almost 15 tables, very many, and it's a relational database. So, most of the time you get that you cannot do anything in Sakila database without the knowledge in joins and mostly the left and right join. So before rushing to Sakila, we shall first check on those joins. We shall check on those joins and then we shall cover. We shall, in fact, Sakila, we shall do it in our second last. Then integrate Power BI with SQL in our last, and we call it SQL. And SQL will always rotate with select from order, like it is a, it rotates just around there. So Kevin, that's all. I want to share these notes that I was also following up here right now so that we get to have a copy, all of us. Is that okay?
Yeah, that is okay.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me just share the notes. Then we shall. Today is let me see. Today is Wednesday. Let me share the notes. I think that's all. Let me just share the notes. Good day. Good day, sir. Good day, Kevin and Samuel. Nimemaliza.